I think we're now ready to go for round one. And here we go.
So, diagonal start for the UK team. I'm not sure if that's planned or not, but it seems to have come together to a C formation, whereas the Polish team, with that strong back line of halberdiers, but also the UK team, I think fairly even, perhaps more on the Polish side.
That one UK fighter there at the back, ready to deal with any Polish fighters who break through.
Yep. It's still very, very close.
Yeah, anyone's gone down just yet.
Evenly matched, and there's a Polish fighter down, just on the left-hand side
yeah,
there.
I see that now. UK fighter running to get a replacement weapon.
But the other fighters
Polish fighters are going to
regret.
regret.
Great takedown there.
He's going to regret trying to push through to against all those halberdiers.
And check out the Czech Republic fighter who's fighting as a mercenary for Poland.
Very well done. Big Polish halberds.
That's just the angle we're getting here, so I can.
They managed to pull a UK fighter through their line.
It's going to be very problematic for that fighter. And yeah, we can see just from this angle, we see a couple of Polish fighters on the ground there.
Polish fighter goes down with the UK fighter with his opponent there.
Yep. And still no burst or breakthrough. And a couple of fighters who...
that UK fighter that punched through their line, looks like he took out two Polish fighters with him when he went down.
Right.
It's behind the Polish line, you can see
there it is. Yeah. And still quite tense now as the Polish are a lot more careful.
Oh, great push there. UK fighter falling over the down fighters behind him.
Yeah, so you do have two UK fighters in the middle. In fact, I can see that's a Belarusian mercenary. And you've got that big Czech fighter.
Weathering a storm there.
Well, he was devastating.
Another weapon broken. UK fighter now has to go back and get a replacement.
Well, he seems to be in no hurry.
No, I suggest he'd get a hurry on.
And the Polish fighter's pulling back now. Not sure if they've got a regroup strategy. Well, good moves there from the Polish fighter. In fact, yes, I think that's what it would be. Trying to get on the right side of the UK fighters to pull them down.
Great run there. That
was a good takedown there from the UK. I think
it looks like they've completely wrapped up the left flank now.
Yeah.
There's no Polish fighters standing.
They want to get behind the Polish fighters so if they can break through that middle area, they'll be in a very good position to take the other Polish fighters from behind.
Yeah, I think the UK has started to wrap this one up now. If you look at it, they're just pinned the remaining Polish fighters into that little corner.
Out. Yep.
And there it is. That's the marshal calling stop fight. Round one goes to the UK.
Well, very even, certainly in the start.
Yeah, but once that Polish left flank crumbled, then that
when that went, that was the end of it. But of course, it didn't come without cost. A number of UK fighters who were grounded, and indeed in that middle area, falling over the Ugandan fighters already. There's a little bit of medical attention going to one of the Polish fighters, but seems to be okay. So it should be a good second round. Poland versus UK. I'm surprised, in fact, that the polearm didn't come to better effect from the Polish fighters. Perhaps not quite. If they could sort of adjust the line of the fighters and sort of stand in between them, use them to better effect, or indeed use longer weapons.
The problem they've got is they're up against a very experienced team in mass categories who know how to avoid incoming halberds.
Of course, you at one time were one of those incoming halberds.
Yeah, not on my own. Well, not my own team though.
Well, no.
Czech fighter pretty much stood there for most of that fight.
Yeah, he's a great fighter. He really is. He's so solid. But of course, as we saw, he's very agile too. And for someone of that size, and of course, he'll have heavier armor than the other fighters. A really good movement.
Marshall's done their count. They seem happy with the Polish fighters. Counting the UK fighters, seem happy there. So we should see round 2 get underway pretty soon.
Oh, so the Polish have a fair bit of support.
Yeah.
That's great to see. And in fact, it's been quite an honour for some of the teams. They've had their ambassadors come to observe the fights.
Oh, wow.
Certainly, to my knowledge, the Dutch ambassador was here yesterday, who was really quite enthusiastic about the sport and was keen to know about the Bahut League tournament, Bahut Masters, which will be in Kenningsteed this August. As we've mentioned before, that will be for the Western Europe Conference.
Here we go with round 2.
Again, a fairly steady going start. A number of pole arms there. I think the UK appear to be trying to take advantage of that left flank, that closest to us, because
there's that
they
same big Czech fighter there again, holding up that left list.
And the UK fighter getting ahead of him. Oh, he's gone out. So 2 down there. Well, I think that was a mistake.
Yeah, no, he tried to avoid going down and didn't realise, I think, how close he was to that list.
Yeah. So, a slight early advantage to the Polish team. And as I was saying, the high number of fighters on the left flank appears to have diminished after those 2 grounded fighters. Therefore, the advantage that they may have had would be all but eradicated, or you consider it's a high concentration of them still. And it's fairly thin in the middle.
A few Polish fighters down there as well.
Yeah. Well, you could just see on the left there was a pole hitting a pole with a pole.
You can hear a very loud command there from the English captain of move forward.
I think they do need to advance at this point because
I've seen quite a few red bodies down there with that camera pan down to the floor.
Not so many. I think it's only 2 as far as I can see. So it's fairly even, certainly. Not in
Another Polish fighter goes down there on their left.
Again, these fighters are allowed to move out of the way if they do feel that they're in some danger.
The UK line is now starting to move past those original downed fighters.
This intervention of a marshal just on the side there might be to check the... as if there's been an injury, but of course on the right flank, well, there's another English fighter or UK fighter who gets dropped emphatically.
Another UK fighter goes down with a Polish fighter there on the left flank.
Oh, very, very even this.
Yeah.
You can see there's another takedown there as the Polish team, I think, getting a lot of support. Well,
great.
The Belarusian mercenary has lost his footing, and now Poland are in control of the fight.
Oh, not too many more UK fighters here tripping over things now.
Yeah, and we see that Polish fighter there has gone down with him. So big support here for the Polish team. Can they come back now? You've got a loose fighter there, UK fighter who's in big trouble. Have a great movement there, and now the lines are completely broken. So the danger is, as you can see there, falling over each other. Need to be extremely careful. And that's another UK fighter down.
Yeah.
Big support from the crowd who are clearly behind Poland.
Two takedowns at the same time. They're perfect.
And there's another one who goes down there.
Fantastic. The axe
takedown. He's gone down himself.
He did finally go down, but the axe ferry there with some great footwork and sort of diverting the energy of his opponents to take them down.
If it's takedowns you want, if it's twists, hip tosses, he's the one to look at. Superb work, great footing as well.
Yeah, it's a shame that he didn't spot that third Polish fighter come out from behind.
That's right, yeah.
It's evened out a
big
lot more now.
Big takedown there, superb.
Oh, two in a row there from
very nice
fighter for the UK, who quickly runs away from that halberd in, goes in for a third. Couldn't quite see if he got that third.
Naturally, they cut away at that point, as you would. Well, that's a Czech fighter there. It appears they've both gone down.
Another Polish fighter down. And another.
Oh, superb!
I think this is starting to...
Very nice work here from the United Kingdom.
Yeah, great pushing over the opponents there. I think we're now seeing this is the last...
Wow,
yeah, there we are.
The tables have turned. And that means that it's a victory for the United Kingdom. That was a great round.
Yeah, it really was. It really had an ebb and flow to it.
I really thought the Poland had the edge at one point there, but once again the UK came back.
They do best. They just come back from something
It's the second time we've seen it.
Yeah. Yes, we've got from one of the marshals there were still 9 UK fighters standing at the end. That big Czech fighter there is having the medics look over him, and that's 2 rounds where he has been hit a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing. You target the fighters, who are going to be critical. For example, in the France fight, people should focus their eyes on Adrian, the so-called French ninja, because they know how devastating he can be, breaking through the lines.
Yeah.
We saw him yesterday, so fighters really need to be aware of that. Likewise, this fighter is a lot more obvious and easy to spot.
I mean, with him, he fulfilled much more of a tank linchpin role. He just stood on that flank and didn't move.
But you can see the strength of that big Czech fighter on the Polish team. So some nice work also from the mercenaries who bunched up the right side of the list.
Great to see that we currently have over 1,000 people joining us on the live stream for this 30 versus 30 group stage.
Excellent, welcome to you all.
A lot of people saying this has been one of their favourite fights of the tournament.
So, Russia once again take to the list. And we saw some outstanding work from them before, taking down the home side.
Svetske šampione, distance world champions, holding title of this competition, Russia. A kroz nekoliko trenutaka, Rumeni koji nam dolaze iz zemlje Sjedinjenih Američkih Država.
And here we go with round one, Ukraine versus UK. Both teams very keen to get to that middle list and engage. There's no down fighters just yet. Very evenly matched start. Ukrainian fighter to try and get through the UK line.
Looks like Ukraine are they're stacking the far side a little bit with more numbers.
UK fighters need to take care of that Ukrainian fighter quickly, otherwise they're tying up too many of their fighters. He goes down, unfortunately, with a UK fighter, but he has now been removed.
Ukraine pushing the line further back.
Yeah, they are.
I don't think sugar's the problem.
He's seeing the Ukrainian experience of larger battles.
Obviously, in Ukraine, a battle of this size isn't unusual, whereas for so many other countries, this is a bit of a first.
Yeah, with the Eastern European countries, it's almost to the point where this is their version of reenactment.
Yeah.
Whereas it's relatively new to the Western European countries.
Yeah. Of course, does give them and other countries like them a very big advantage.
Done that a bit the wrong way around. Had the shield guard behind the halberdier.
Yeah.
That's the end of it.
A lot of fighters are both teams still up.
And that wouldn't be the time limit either, though. So.
And it's clearly first round to Ukraine. Still surprised that fight was called when it was, though.
Doesn't look like there's any injuries, so that's nice.
Always a bonus. Guys now getting ready for round two. Last UK fighter in, they'll now be counted to make sure that's the right number, and I think we're not far off seeing the start of round two.
Just like looking out at the audience, I'm not surprised that today's dragged a few more bodies in, but yesterday I thought it was quite full, but now it's looking quite rammed up there. It's excellent.
Yesterday was completely full, and today's equally.
Well, there's probably about 5 or 6 rows of people standing on the floor as well.
Have a quick check there. Good to see that still well over 1,000 people joining us live to watch the first year of 30 versus 30 at the 10th edition of Battle of the Nations.
u britanskoj ekipi. Naravno, maršali polasku na porište provjeravaju da li je sve propisano, da li su oklopi zaštitili svaki deo, bitan deo tela, vitezova.
Right, and here we go. Both teams been counted and approved by the marshals, so should see round 2 start any second now. And here we go with round 2. Two lines meet there in the middle. Ukrainians are pushing that centre.
UK pretty quick to move up to try and gain a bit of ground to start with.
Yeah, needed if you're going to start taking backward steps to that push from Ukraine. Fairly ineffectual halberd hits going on to the heads of the Ukrainian fighters there. Doesn't seem to be bothering them too much at all. Ukraine trying to make a push through that centre with 2 fighters getting through the UK line. They need to be dealt with
They've
quickly.
broken a bit of a gap through there.
Yeah.
It's
A number of UK fighters gone down now, as well as a couple of Ukrainian fighters.
surprised Ukraine didn't take advantage of that. They could have pushed through and really broken that line up.
No, they didn't for whatever reason. That may be costly. Another Ukraine fighter there taken to the ground by one of the UK 1 fighters in the 30 versus 30. Quickly, 2 more Ukrainians have pushed through the line now. They need to be dealt with quickly. You can get those UK fighters back to the main line. They shouldn't have let go of that fighter. That was costly.
Once you let them get through that deeply and wrap
keep
their
hold of
arms
them.
on that fence, it's hard to take them down. You turn your back one moment.
Oh, he's no. It's like Ukrainian fighter had gone down. He was fully sat on a downed fighter there. I think that counts as down, doesn't it?
It should do, yes.
Yeah.
It's a group of 4 or 5 UK
They're calling
fighters on
that
the far
as
side
a
there.
clear victory to Ukraine. The first loss we've seen for the UK in this category.
No shame in losing to Ukraine, though. I mean, they're a really strong team.
No, I mean, I think traditionally in the 21-21, you always saw Ukraine with up there in the top 3. But last year, I think it was Russia gold, Ukraine silver, UK bronze.
Oh, it's like that. Been like that for years.
Well, it's not always been UK up there in bronze for years.
No, but
Russia
I mean,
and Ukraine
Russia
in the
and
top
Ukraine
2
in the
spot,
top 2 or 3 spots. Yes. Of course, we mustn't forget the allies for the 30 in the Ukraine in the UK team. Fighters from Israel, Moldova, and Belarus.
China ready? UK ready? First round.
We get underway.
Here we go.
United Kingdom versus China. There's that early burst from that.
On the far side there, you've got the Australian on team captain just running ahead of everybody.
Oh, that's him, is it? Right.
Yeah.
Where your weapon is gone. And fighters are going down already also. That's a UK fighter down there. The China team really balance out the sides, and that's a nice takedown there.
So that's
However,
a big
it's
empty gap in
responded
the
well.
middle now.
Good response from the Chinese fighter. And there are a number of fighters down from both teams. And you still have that Australian captain over there.
He's a rock. He is one of the...
He really is.
It's very rare that you see him go down in a fight.
Yeah. Oh! Well, the
There you
trip
go.
didn't quite work out.
Still him up on the far side there.
You're going to stand up. Stand up, please.
And you still saw a lot of bursts, as you can see just in the replay, of breaking through the lines. And a lot of running charges ended in takedowns for both teams. Great charge from the UK fighter.
Keep pulling that back and tightening it on my throat. That looks comfortable.
Also for China, we have new knights.
Both teams showing a good bit of discipline there, forming up into 3 lines of 10 to make it a bit easier for the judges to count.
Yeah.
There's that nice titanium harness we were talking about yesterday.
Oh, that's it, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Fully fluted. Gorgeous late period harness.
And we saw that last year in Battle of the
Yeah.
Nations.
I think the whole thing weighs something like 10 or 12 kilos.
It's something like that,
It's
yeah.
ridiculously light.
Astronomical in value as well.
Oh yes, I think they said it was something like 12,000
So
Australian dollars or
that's what I
something.
heard, yeah.
Yeah.
But for such a light kit, yeah, if you've got that kind of money, then yeah, sure, you'd make
Yeah.
the investment. And why not?
God, wouldn't it be awesome if we could have everybody in that quality kit?
It would be awesome if we all had that much money.
Yeah, yeah.
Rewind. Rewind. Last preparation for the start of the second round.
I was talking with one of the Australians the other day about how the Australasia region are all working together to try and grow the sport. So they're doing the Chinese government obviously are providing a lot of support for their national team.
Excellent.
But they're talking about doing. They've already done several tournaments in China where
Well, that's right, they had the Bohol
Australia
League
and New Zealand have gone over there, and then China have come over to Australia to fight. So nice good cooperation there.
Of course, last year in summer they came to Canning Street in August.
Yeah, they did really well there.
Yeah. But they had the 5 versus 5 bullets, and of course some of the dual categories as well. And I think in 2 to 3 years you're going to see an extremely strong China team.
Yeah, because this is only their second year in it, is it?
And Battle of the Nations, their first one was in Barcelona.
Yep.
But we were astounded by, there was one journalist who was carrying his GoPro around doing a live stream, and there were simply thousands and thousands. We couldn't even compete. I mean, there were thousands and thousands of viewers back home in China. Which says a lot about the enthusiasm for the sport over there. Here, UK once again in control of this fight, and it's called. So, second round victory to the United Kingdom.
Congratulations, China. Congratulations for the victory for the United Kingdom. Pobeda Ujedinjenog Kraljevstva. It is second victory for the United Kingdom. Congratulations once again. Our applause is a sjajne victorie debitante.
You see how widely spread out they are. In fact, they seem to be.
Fighters ready? Fighters ready?
There we go now to UK versus USA.
First round of the playoffs.
And a relatively tense start from both the teams. Well, the US has sort of broken through the UK lines there and still haven't been taken down, so you can see the advantage here for the USA.
I still think there's a few more US bodies down than British. The positioning of the field looks like it's a bit more dominant for America, but I think their numbers are down.
Well, it's a very laboured fight. So the fighters need to be careful of those grounded fighters there. And so there's a nice takedown in the middle. Offensive, but the US fighter is very wide.
Good job of the US guy keeping his feet there. And still keeping up. Now he's going to make it all the way the length of the field. He's dropped his weapon. Oh, now he's down.
Well, still very close. Great takedown there from the UK. He's now hunted by the US fighter in the corner. Two have gone down there. Very efficient work from UK.
Looks like it might be Brad Shavy down in the back left there.
Well, it was certainly quite an even fight for the most part there. Again, the Americans who broke through were keeping 3 to 4 of the UK fighters at bay, who were not having much luck.
Fighters, please get up.
And you just saw the difficulty in that middle area with the grounded fighters, who were problematic, as you can see there, but probably the American fighter was not able to get himself out of danger. So a very interesting first round.
It's one of the skills you've got to spend a lot of time developing in this sport is actually situational awareness.
Yeah.
It's so hard. It's so easy to get tunnel visioned in what's in front of your visor. But
That's right, yep.
Keep your head on the swivel and make sure that you can keep if you're aware that there's some bodies around you, that's a really good tactical advantage. If you can just back somebody up over a body, all of the work's done for you.
But it appears there's a warning for, or what appears to be a warning for a UK fighter. So the marshals are just speaking to the three captains of the UK team there. Of course, it's made up of UK, Belarus and Israel.
And Moldova.
And Moldova, beg your pardon.
Doing the last counts.
Well, it seems just a few substitutions before the start. Of course, as well as the captains, the marshals obviously have to do the count. But again, the night marshal still speaking to the captain of the UK team.
Conversation's over, so it looks like they're almost ready to start. Curious to find out what that was about.
Yeah, there's been no indication of a card yet, but we might see that afterwards if there's something. Certainly looked like a warning. Although we can't say for sure at this point. So the UK team rushing towards the Americans now. But of course they're now pushed back by this strong American team.
Grabbed a couple of Americans already in and taken them down behind the line.
That's right, so we're getting that advanced breaking through, didn't quite work out. However, that's two gone down there. And you see in the middle you have some American fighters, and a great shove there from the UK, who will now want to advance forward as they need to get away from the fallen fighters in their own half.
America look like they've got that tactical advantage on that close barrier rail to us.
Yeah.
On the left of screen.
And there's the Israeli captain getting a
the
great
rest of the field
takedown.
is looking quite white.
Well, it seems to be dominated at this point by Team UK. Well, still time for a couple of takedowns there, as you saw. Oh, smooth takedown there.
Nice.
Well, good victory there for the United Kingdom. And the first round
Telling everyone to stay down so that the marshals can get a proper count.
And the first round was much more hard fought.
Stand up. Congratulations, United Kingdom. United Kingdom. Women United. Dakle, jedino mesto, kao da je borilo sa 2-0.
Fights.
No, they will.
No, they won't. There it is.
And they're being met. Wow.
smashed right into them. A few down, gone down already.
A few Russian fighters gone down as well.
Oh, this is great. Good movement. As they...
Look at those UK fighters just pushing through the centre of the Russian line.
Yep. Look, see, now this is trouble, however. You can see the Russians have got them covered.
Yep. This isn't the first time, though, we've seen the Russian lines sort of disintegrate in any real...
Yeah. But, of course, they did have those extra fighters at the back there.
Yeah, they've always keep that five-man team.
Yep.
Whose job is to do what they just did very well.
Yeah, well, like I say, no, they're up there.
Wow, great. One strike to the face and down went that UK fighter. And another one. Superb.
Wow.
Yeah, people are not being aware enough of the menace that he is with that halberd.
Yeah.
And now some Russians are behind the UK line.
So I think now they've got all
great front kick.
There.
And there we go.
And then is it round one goes to Russia.
Oh! No, that was a clear marshal's flag and that Russian halberd kept going anyway. And we've got the medics immediately come to this. We'll also see a couple of the UK fighters using heater shields for this. Yeah, that is the oldest UK fighter, Brian, who is an absolute example, really, of a fighter. Significantly older than everyone else in the UK team, and he's, despite that, doesn't stop him. Yeah, you can see where that halberd hit, right across the brow there of that helmet, creasing it in. But he's walking off, which is always a good sign.
Yeah, I think it might have just dazed him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't quite look right on his feet, but he was still able to walk.
No. Oh, it's a great...
Yeah,
Cross
absolutely
kick there.
perfect technique. Here we go for round two. This goes the way I think it goes. We'll likely see a rather historic matchup for gold, silver and bronze, with the always epic Russia and Ukraine battling out for gold and silver, and of course UK and France for the third year in a row battling it out for bronze.
And of course, in the previous 2 years, it was the 21 versus 21. 2 years ago, France taking it, and last year, UK. But it depends, of course, what happens in the other semi-final, and indeed this semi-final. Yeah. Russians still, this time, spreading out there. As the fighters staying in the back.
Here we go, the UK completely matching the charge this time.
Been locked in the middle, that's the UK fighter been thrown down there.
Yeah.
More of them are hitting the ground now in that middle area, which is very, very dangerous for other fighters. And you can see, yeah, that's another Russian fighter who's gone down, a grounded fighter. See that wide shield there is very useful, blocking the possible strikes of the UK fighter.
Yeah.
Well, this could be a big takedown. Smashes him to the ground.
Oh wow, good footwork by that Russian there.
Well,
not the slickest of rounds, with a number of fighters falling over each other in the middle. However, this wins the count, and that takes Russia to the final of this first ever 30 versus 30 category. So that breakthrough there.
Yeah, see, there's that mass of bodies that goes down
Yeah.
in the middle there. You've even got Russian fighters falling over that
Yeah.
mass there.
Yep.
Just examples of that absolutely perfect technique.
This is a
Yeah,
big
there we
takedown
go.
there.
So almost a takedown there, but that Russian fighter just knew how. And here we are for the bronze medal fight. UK versus France.
The traditional grudge match.
The traditional grudge match, my favourite grudge match, both to fight in and watch, and now commentate.
You've now got the full set.
And here we go.
And here he's starting off.
Two lines meet each other. Slow pace forward. Not much push from either side just yet. Both happy to.
Well, I still think this will be fairly close. Although the UK team seems to be mildly forcing the French back.
Big mob of fighters down there in the middle.
From both sides.
Also a French fighter down on their right. The English are
Oh,
starting to
and,
push. One of the
Israeli
UK fighters
fighter
push through.
Well, the French seem quite happy to say that a lot of their fighters can get them down. It seems like spent energy.
There we are.
That's the captain of the Israeli team.
The UK have really pushed them right back.
There's some nice takedowns going, but there are fighters going down from both sides. Some of them going down at the same time. Roll. Good
The
work
Ninja
there.
doesn't quite manage to get that.
Yeah, and there was an
He did
attempt
manage to avoid a good trip on the way in though, so
Yeah.
well done to his great footwork as always.
Very good footwork, yeah. And you're going to have to work hard to trip him over.
Yeah. Attempted
Right,
takedown there to use the bodies on the floor,
The
didn't quite get
UK
the
seem
payoff.
to have the numbers in this round.
Yeah, they really do at this point.
And a
I
lot
mean,
of
we're
pressure
at
going
the,
down
we're at the
against the
mopping up
French
stage
now.
here, aren't we?
I think we are.
Oh wow, that one hit from that halberd. You see how quickly that French fighter dropped?
Oh, yeah, straight away.
Hope he's
That
all right
looks
there.
like
That
it
was
might
a drop
be
at
called
some
there.
time.
And as the first round goes to the United Kingdom.
What a result. Quick round. Interesting to see what France does in the second round now to try and come back from that loss.
Yeah. And I think they might do well to adopt a more aggressive approach. And it was an interesting breakthrough from that Israeli mercenary who really went right back, went straight for the list, and there were 4 French fighters around
Yeah,
him.
it's a great move because either you deal with him quickly with numbers,
Yeah.
and you have that risk of those numbers not on the line, or
Yeah.
you don't deal with him with enough numbers, and then he
Yeah.
starts wreaking havoc
That's
by
right,
hitting
yeah.
you in the back. So it's,
Yeah.
it's a decision. What do we do?
Now it looks like the French Ninja has got some problems there. No, he seems to be okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good news.
He's jogging off there. I think he's fine.
Yeah.
Dobro si rekao, preko suvornika sudio duela sa Ukajom I sada evo, nemaju dosta vitezova za drugu rundu. Evo sada I sa reprezentacijom Ukrajine ovdje u backstage-u. And now with the Ukraine guys, and they make their last preparation for the backward direction. Final match, Turkey against Turkey.
Well, the UK fighters seem ready.
UK fighters counted and now moving into position, ready for round 2. See if they can do a quick round, same as round 1.
Yeah, a number of substitutions, or perhaps just fighters who had left the list for some minor armour adjustments. And the medics just seen to one of the French fighters. Well, in a tense moment before the start of this second round, but the UK fighters look really ready for it. And I can afford to be quite confident with a first round victory. But the French have certainly defeated the UK team before, and they know how to do it. So this by no means will be an easy fight, and we could even see the French pull back around. Certainly not beyond their capabilities.
Fighters ready? Fighters ready? Fight!
Here we go with round 2.
And we see a lot of contact and connection, and the UK fighters.
The UK fighters are doing what the Ukrainians did now, which is that you can see strike and move forward.
Yep. But nobody's down yet, so you can see the lines are completely broken and quite staggered. Although the French fighters have broken the line and actually gone down. However, there's a very loose part.
Another French fighter gone down behind the UK line there.
Took a risk going through there, of course. At that point, there was not much he could do.
And another French fighter does the same thing, and it doesn't work for him either.
Yeah.
At this point, you've got to start thinking maybe try something else.
Well, you can see that French ninja just in the middle there. And if he sees a gap, he'll take that. Then, in fact, there's a gap opening up
Another
there.
French
so there
fighter
could be
down there.
Yeah.
UK fighter goes down behind the French line, along with a French fighter.
Oh, still close.
Very few white tab bars on the ground.
Yeah, that's true. So the UK fighters seem to have an advantage at this point. Well, of course, it's far from over, although the
entire
UK
left
team
flank has now collapsed to the
now
French.
forcing the French back right into the corner.
I think this is
As
a
they
very
did last
clear.
time, and I think we're going quite to the end of this
here.
fight. This could be it.
Here we are.
Down the fight is called. Bronze goes to the United Kingdom.
That's the UK with another bronze medal win over France.
Well, commiserations to the French. I mean, they've been doing so well in this entire 30 versus 30 category this time. But this time, they're outclassed by a very compact and aggressive United Kingdom. Got also support there for the UK team. They'll be jubilant about this. And of course, they have the Belarusian, Moldovan and Israeli mercenaries. Now, of course, they do actually have a Latvian as well. I beg your pardon. You can see him there. Vladimir Enom. Somebody I know very well personally. And the French did make attempts to break the lines.
Numerous attempts, but each one was completely unsuccessful. It was very quickly closed down and thrown down.
I think they could have benefited from actually two